Welcome back to Sarita in the Stream. This is the kind of show you can sit back with a cup of coffee and listen to some of the funny, serious, or compelling things that come out of our mouths. Everyone seems to resonate with the subjects we pick, and we do it carefully and thoughtfully every week for your entertainment. Sit back, enjoy that coffee, and listen to us here on Sarita in the Stream. Welcome back to Sarita in the Stream. Weekly, we're doing kind of some retrospective on classic, iconic American TV shows that we all grew up with and love. And we're also kind of trying to throw in a more serious subject. And this is one that I woke up with last night, like a complete brain explosion. And that was the era of the 2000s, and I'm going to call it the era of posturing. And I called Sarita today before we decided to go on air and talk about this, and how once again, I don't know if this is something that was manufactured or what, or where it came from, but shows on television, personalities, the way we've made stars out of people who do nothing is pretty incredible to me. And that's why I call it the age of posturing, because it's not about the good you've done. It's just about being you and being badass and being like famous. And so many examples out there. What do you think, Sarita?
Well, when you said the era of posturing, I was like, oh my God, I've never heard that before. Yeah, I mean that, and I just got this wave of that's what it is. It seems like everybody's posturing. And when I say everybody, everyone, you have to know, I'm saying it in general terms. I know it's not everyone.
Well, it is, kind of. Everyone, it seems like everyone kind of got into that groove, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, and what did I say after you said that? I said, it's funny, I just got this text from an old friend who I must have posted something that hurt her image or something. I really still don't know, but she told me I made her feel badly from the post I wrote. And I said, I don't even remember what post I wrote. I mean, I don't write about people unless it's my mother. But what I'm getting at is anything that chinks her reputation or the image she's got offends her. Okay, that's just one example. But what you're talking about is what I saw too. Why does everyone want to be like the celebrities? When did they become the leaders of how we live our life?
Yeah, and to get even a little deeper and more sinister about it, and we go into the biblical thing. Don't worship false idols. Mm-hmm. And I think is there a move afoot to get us away from our spirituality, whether that's Christianity or Judaism or Islam or anything, and put us into a framework where we're idolatrizing these people in our communities who are rock stars, models, or just lay around do nothings like a certain group of women that are on TV all the time who are sisters. And why is that okay? I mean, granted, one of those sisters does some good work, I guess, with prisoners and things like that. Not really even sure if that's real or not. But then we're looking at other people like, the Ozzy Osbournes, and rest in peace, Ozzy, by the way. It's become this thing that people are distracting themselves with, and they're idolizing these people, and they're becoming false idols to so many people in the world. Mm-hmm. I mean, Kanye West, honestly.
Well, right. And what does that affect? That affects marketing and product purchase, lifestyle. That is a huge money machine.
It is.
Huge.
Aspirational wealth, where you're just thinking, oh, I've got to be like that guy. I've got to wear those Adidas. I've got to wear that, camisole. I've got to carry that Louis bag. I've got to carry this. I got to drive this car. I've got to be like her, or I've got to be like him. What brought it up to me was, and I already recounted this to you on the phone, but obviously the audience did not hear this, was the show I watched the other day, a very cute Italian mom in Texas, I believe. That was her accent, at least. She was cooking all these recipes from famous people, models, rock stars, rap stars, all these people, right? Mm. And you're watching it, and yeah, the recipes were good. So good and so clean that that star didn't make them, right? Impossible. Because they were well orchestrated, well thought through. And it's just like on their Kardashians when, what's her name, the mom calls her home cook, not her name, cook.
Right.
That's weird to me. That just doesn't make sense. That's a dehumanistic thing. You're dehumanizing a person based on their trade. Mm-hmm. That'd be like calling your mechanic, hey, mechanic.
Well, right. Yeah, it is dehumanizing. And, that is kind of, again, when we talk about history, there were times in history where people did not go by their name because we were living in, obvious open slave times.
Yeah. Yeah. By the way, the worst recipe on this woman's show was Meghan Markle's travesty recipe. In fact, I watched it and I was like, that is the grossest thing I've ever seen anybody make. And I'm sorry you had to do it and rate it. She did rate it very poorly. Mm-hmm. But again, another person who people I idolize, Meghan Markle, a woman who was on a show that, as far as I can tell, I never saw this show. Mm-hmm. She marries this other icon, this British prince. They have this fairy tale marriage. They live in Montecito. For those of you who don't know, Montecito is probably one of the 2 or 3 top communities in terms of cost and wealth in the United States. Everybody lives up there. Oprah has a place up there. Everybody lives there. And we had this conversation today. You cannot really relate to these people. There's no way you can understand who they are.
No.
They're not relatable.
No, not to regular people. But regular people think that they are relatable because of the content of their shows or their talk show or their book. So their job is to dole out life advice and recommendations and things to improve your life, right? That's what they do. I mean, right. If you think about Oprah, her job as a host of daytime TV was to influence the housewives of America. And
that she did.
She sure did.
For many years for the good, too. Mm-hmm. I mean, it pulled people out of their humdrum lives, I guess, Mm-hmm. I know that a certain person in the studio was addicted to Oprah briefly.
Briefly. And I think I told you the story about one day I walked in and everyone was waiting for me to give the summary of the Oprah show. And
your daily recap?
Mm-hmm. And I didn't say anything. That was like, not having your coffee in the morning. And everyone kind of said, what's wrong with Sarita? What's wrong with Sarita? She's not talking about Oprah.
That was it. The end of the era.
That was the end.
Well, so I think posturing is something that, with the internet and kids being addicted to it, right? They're gluing themselves to people, mm-hmm. these idols, and they're gluing their self-worth to these people and seeing if they can keep up. I don't think it's very healthy at all for kids to be on the internet. I don't think at all. They should be restricted until like they're 12. Mm-hmm. And I don't think kids should have cell phones unless they should have. We gave our daughter a flip phone flip phone at 8 so she could, because we both worked in different cities, and so she could get in touch with us in case there was an emergency. We do live in an earthquake-prone zone, so we made sure of that. But I don't think they should have access to the internet.
Well, I don't either, and we know now. I mean, there's two things: monkey see, monkey do.
Yep.
Okay, so our access to technology there's so much out there that we'll never be able to control. So, you have to decide, what kind of relationship do you want to have with your kids? Do you want to be, constantly supervising them in a world that is just, we have no control over it?
Right.
I mean, how many adults are completely addicted to the internet and to the information it provides? And now, of course, with the acceleration, I mean, the internet was used to collect data on all of us. Bottom line, it had information, it collected its data.
Got more.
Right. Now, I read books. I talk to people now. I don't even know what I use the internet for except to pay my bills.
Or order Amazon. That's me.
Yeah.
That's basically it. I mean, I'll use Wikipedia to get the general facts about something. Mm-hmm. I'll use Amazon to order things because Lord knows I don't want to go to Home Depot. That's
mm-hmm.
a disaster.
Mm-hmm.
But the little things that I could get, I'll go to Ace, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's just become, you no longer discover things on the internet, it seems
mm-hmm.
like, right?
Mm-hmm.
You use it just to burnish what you already know about something and perhaps dive a little deeper into something. Mm-hmm. That's it. But it used to be this thing where, like, you were going to do all sorts of great things. Your Facebook was so big, and, you were really just loving all this stuff. But
yeah.
It's really faded for me.
It has. And, going back to your era of posturing,
yes.
The Decade of Posturing by Latham Woodward, even now we can see where spirituality is a type of posturing. And,
oh, for sure.
Right?
For sure. All these fake gurus, yogis, gurus, yoginis, all this crap. I mean, it's just everywhere.
It's everywhere. And that's what I coined a couple of years ago. We're going to enter the Costco of spirituality, where there's going to be so much to pick from. You're just going to go, what do I pick? What do I pick? And so they take one of each.
Yeah.
And that's almost more brain damage than a practice. But, you were saying in reference to the Bible, and I was talking with my mom this morning about the Gita, and these were all predicted in these scriptures. What happens when humanity gets so out of balance that they start revering their false idols.
It brings up something very interesting to me, because although I'm a Episcopalian, right, by birth, and I was baptized at 28 years old after going to catechism classes for a year, and you look at things like the Bible, people are crazy about it. They'll read into stuff that's not there, right? They'll read into inferences. They'll read into, like, people saying, like, these guys in the South and Bible-thumping Baptists and their cousins, there will be, Jesus said, well, no one actually knows what he said, okay? But we know that certain things, precepts, came down over time and were recorded. We also know that the Bible and the, what is it, the Bhagavad Gita?
Bhagavad Gita.
Bhagavad Gita? Wait, we need an expert here. What's it
Say
called?
Bhagavad Gita.
Bhagavad Gita.
Yes.
Did I say that correctly?
Thank you, Mom. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you, Ba.
Oh, you're welcome.
We need an expert occasionally. Thank you. And the Old Testament, these are guidebooks for something. When the great library of Alexander was burned to the ground, there was every bit of human knowledge was in that library. Mm-hmm. We do not know what predated that event. We do not know if we existed in a higher form 20,000 years ago, 30,000 years ago. I firmly believe we did, and we achieved certain things. And these guidebooks are there to be looked at as reference books, not perhaps is solely to guide your life, but as a reference to what had come before.
Well, yeah, I mean, they absolutely are a manual for our human technology. Those books are there for our benefit. What has happened, which happens all the time, is, when you get certain people who are translating the information for you in order to grow their own congregation or church or following.
Or bank account.
Then, again, you're leading people. And, the first time I went to a church when I was a kid, because my dad sent us to all sorts of other religious denominations because he wanted us to understand just how powerful religious organizations can be in directing a person's life. And that at the end of the day, we were responsible for directing our own life.
Correct.
Right?
Right.
So, yeah, that's the one thing I definitely talk with a lot of people about, is they're questioning what they actually believe, because they sure don't feel powerful as human beings right now.
No, they don't. And with the amount of uncertainty and questioning that's happening right now, it's an interesting time. And hopefully the era of posturing is ending. Mm-hmm. And I think with the advent of new media, independent media, where you can get stuff from different sources, many different ways, I think it's a powerful thing. I think it's analogous to when the printing press came out. Mm-hmm. I think it's that big. We may look, well, I probably won't be on Earth then, but it may be looked back on in time as this second or third great awakening, where the information stream went back to the people.
Yeah.
And that's so powerful. And it's also exposing all these people. I was watching a YouTube episode with an English commentator and Roseanne Barr. Now, Roseanne Barr can be crazy as hell, I can say.
I think she's great.
I love her, but she says some crazy ass shit.
Yes, she does.
Excuse my French. She definitely does. But she does know about the dirty deeds in Hollywood.
Well, she does, and look at, she had one of the most popular sitcoms, and she was playing a mom.
The most popular.
Right.
The most popular.
A regular mom. And so what happened to her is Hollywood should have embraced her, but they didn't, because Roseanne she did maintain a lot of her own integrity. She didn't fly with the crowd in that world, so she didn't fit in.
Right. I think she's down in New Mexico now. Also,
I don't know. I don't know her.
I think that's where she is. But it was interesting to hear her talk about, the idolatry, and so she explained how she became the mother to so many young actors and actresses that were young and would come up to her and go, "I look at you like my mom," because I didn't have a mom. I had a shitty mom. Mm-hmm. And so she found out a lot about the grooming and all that other stuff. It's very disgusting, actually. But that played into the idolatry and the posturing, because then you could be that person. People will model their lives after you.
Right.
They'll love you.
Oh, God. Well, and it goes back to Oliver Douglas. Remember, his dad was basically grooming him.
Yeah, on Green Acres. That's right.
So the word grooming has lots of different layers. And sometimes, when I use grooming, people think I'm automatically talking about sexual abuse.
Well, that's the current thing, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But it's lots of layers. It's brainwashing. It's a type of brainwashing.
It's like Stockholm Syndrome, that episode we talked about. Mm-hmm. All children are victims of the Stockholm Syndrome. Mm-hmm. Interesting take by a psychiatrist. But if we can get out of the age of posturing and get back to people who we can look up to for their deeds and their good ideas and their helping humanity, that's powerful.
It's a wonderful life.
And I believe it was, and I'm going to look it up here while you entertain us some more, Sarita, because I want to learn this quote from Martin Luther King.
Okay. Well, my mom and I were talking about this because she has very, very short, harsh words about people in this posturing era, right? She's from a village in India. Mom, what do you know when you talk to me about the word high five?
Yeah, they talk so much about nonsense, you know. And I'm just making an example, like Gandhiji. Okay, Gandhiji, he is the number one person, but he treat his wife Kasturba like a dirt. Yeah, talking about
His wife, Gastuva.
Kasturba.
Yeah, Kasturba.
So she's talking about Gandhi.
Okay.
And, everybody loves Gandhi and they praise him for being a peaceful man and things. But, behind the scenes, he treated his wife like crap. And, people almost don't want to hear that. They're just like, oh, no. So that's like, it's in the same vein of what we're talking about. People modeled their life after Gandhi over parts of him.
Right.
The public part that was a part of the reputation machine.
And when they did his statue, when he died, they have a special statue, they make it. And I went there in Vidyanagar. They're talking about so highly, but his wife, he treat his wife for nothing. Yeah,
Thanks.
criticizing.
So,
Thanks, Mom.
thank you.
Okay.
So I want to read a quote that probably you don't know from Martin Luther King. It's not one of the most popular ones, but it's very much in this vein. And here it is. Everybody can be great because anybody can serve. You don't have to have a college degree to serve. You don't have to make your subject and the verb agree to serve. You only need a heart full of grace, a soul generated by love. Everybody can be great. That's how he starts. Very erudite man. Also apparently not very good to his wife either, but that's another story for another day.
I mean, that's another story for another day, but everyone can be great is the secret code in all of these religious texts too, which is we all have the power to be unbelievably magnificent as human beings. These professions and these ladders of reputational achievement, those are all manufactured.
Yeah.
To sell a lifestyle.
Yeah. This lifestyle thing is just too much. And now we see all these things about LVMH and Louis Vuitton. It's implied, I don't know if this is true, but about their $1 million bags or whatever being made in China. And it's just all, fake.
Smoke and mirrors.
Yeah, but you're sitting there creating an idol from these people who carry these Birkin bags.
Yeah, but the people who are making it, they don't care. They're just kind of laughing at the people who pay that kind of money to carry a status symbol.
Yeah.
And the worst part about that is the celebrities who market that so that regular people try to save up for things like that. That's the part that, the manufacturing element, that's one level of just ultimate monopoly greed. But then you've got the people who, are those, what do you call them? The promoters.
They're pimps.
Yeah. And so when you start selling that to regular people who then factor those things into their budget, well, what else do you think Oliver Douglas wanted to move to Hooterville?
Or move to Beverly Hills.
Well, it's because in that first episode of Green Acres, Oliver's talking to his boss, and they're talking about all these antitrust litigation cases that he was working on, and it was driving him bananas because they were supporting the corporations.
So let's just try to make it a thing when you're thinking about you're watching a show Below Deck or whatever, you're making these 20-year-old girls and boys who are overly sexualized into stars. You think about where they're going to go, in their future. Are they going to remain a star? Probably not. Probably not. And it was a great ride while it lasted. But I think that's how we have to start looking at it. These things are little snippets in time. They're not permanent. There's no permanence in this fame for the lower caste of fame, right? It's just what it is. You're a bit player in a much bigger picture. But start utilizing that term, the posturing, and how to get away from it. And every time you see a show, think about, are they posturing? And are they just trying to sell something? So I think that's where I want to end it today. I don't know. How about you? You got more to say about this one?
No, I think we opened up the can.
To open up the can of the posturing worms.
The coffee can.
Well, thanks again here for listening to us. We're not filming this one on Sarita and the Stream. It's always a pleasure to have an audience that appreciates our content. If you have any other ideas or subjects you'd like to mention, you can reach us at Latham, Latham, at madmanastudios.com. That's MADMANA Studios with an S.com. Ba,
Yes.
thank you so much for being here again.
You welcome, and good to hear your voice and good to listen to you.
And it's good to listen to you, and I appreciate your input today.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Sarita. See you next time.
Thanks, Latham. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks. Thank you for listening to Sarita in the Stream. New content coming every week. You can count on it. To contact us, drop us a line at Latham at madmanastudios.com. That's LATHAM at madmana, MADMANA studios.com. All rights reserved, Madmana Studios.